Either buys or fucking dies!
Sober.
Fucking sucks.
Boring, right?
So boring. I want to kill myself.
Fairy dust. It doesn't exist. It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not fucking real.
YouTube, Facebook, video.
Good morning, you beautiful bastards. Good morning, Henry. Good to see you, man.
GM, sir.
I hear you.
GM.
Do you hear me?
How are you?
Do you hear me? I don't hear you.
I do. You don't hear me?
Barely. Do you guys hear Henry? Good morning, guys. Man, I see a bunch of you out there this morning. Do you guys hear Henry? I hear him, but like this much.
Maybe one of your settings is off.
Holy shit. Holy shit. You should be my producer. You're right. I had the volume
Was
down.
that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, GMs. Hey,
Man,
drop me
so
the
good
link,
at
would
this
you?
shit.
Can you drop me like the YouTube link so I can post it?
Yeah, eek. But then people might watch, man.
Yeah, it's okay. It's Saturday. People are AFK.
Yeah,
AFK.
dude, people out at East Denver, we've had like these two big like IRL events 2 weeks in a row, and it's funny, dude. We'll get into this, but like Katz brought this up like 2 weeks ago. He was asking my thoughts, like, how's the market going to look with these events going on? Because typically we pull back, like it's a little slower, and man, it's not, and it makes me very, very excited for what next week might look like, and the week after, like with like the next big event's NFT NYC, I think. So, dude, fucking spicy out there.
Yeah.
All right, one sec, getting you that link. But good morning, guys. Good to see everyone. How you guys doing this week? How you doing in NFTs, and how you guys feel about us talking about Ordinals? A lot of Ordinals today.
Ordinals are hot. Ordinals are hot, sir. Yeah.
Wow.
You know what? You hear people talking about how, they wish it was the bear. They wish they did this. They wish they did that. And the reality is like, put your money where your mouth is. If you have conviction and you actually wish it was the bear, when it was the bear, we had plenty of bear. You could have been buying all this shit. So,
Yep.
Node Monkeys ran out of my price range. I was off by like 0.05, and but honestly, like I'm just happy to see it, even though I'm not in it.
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you what. Like they may pull back a little still. I got to look at their holder ratio. I could totally picture a pullback in there and a few other collections, but man, I would not want to miss that if there's an opportunity, even like a group buy or something. But Ordinals in general, that's this cycle. That's what's going to see all the action this cycle. We're going to see like that 2021 ETH run, 2022. That's all going to be Bitcoin this year. I'm like, man, I'm so pumped for it. But it's why I keep talking about it like in shows, and why I keep staying on the Ordinal subject, because I know people are starting to wake up to it. I don't want people thinking they missed, and I want to talk about it so much that they realize like they have to pay attention to it. You can't miss this cycle. Like it's definitely not the last one, and I do think there'll be even bigger ones in the future. But you don't miss these kind of opportunities. They don't come that often.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to talking about it because I had some thoughts this week about Ordinals in general, and this cycle is obviously going to be a little bit different than 21, just altogether, right? Tokens and Ordinals, and obviously, there's been some pumps on Solana, but I think there's some I don't want to say interesting mechanics to this cycle that make it a little bit different. It might make it a little bit harder to play. Ordinals themselves are very different as far as how they flow, with the exception of like a handful of projects. So yeah, we're looking forward to get into that and get your thoughts on some of those.
Yeah,
Some of those.
it's a good point about
had.
they feel different. And I'll show you why, at least why I think they do. And I think it's obvious. It's just because of how many people are in there, or really how many people are not in there. But there's a couple collections in particular, like those Nat Cats. I think those really highlight why it moves the way it does. But there's a growing number of examples of how that space is changing. And again, we'll hit them all. I'm going to do a quick market review. I'm not going to go too in depth there. Because sometimes talking the numbers bores the shit out of me, and I just want to get to the juicy stuff. But I love this stuff at the same time. Value of the market's down actually, and that then reminds me I need to peek at crypto. I've been trying to do a good job of this, like as a learning opportunity. When the value of the NFT market is down, is it really only because crypto prices are down? And so far, that's almost it's how it works almost to a T. Right? Like the prices of NFTs obviously so closely tied to the prices of crypto. And yeah, so we're down this morning. Solana's down 3.28%. Ethereum's down 0.8%. Bitcoin's down almost 1%. And that drags the value of NFTs down. It's like, it's just that simple. You sell your NFT for the same amount in that currency. The US dollar value is less. It's just kind of common sense, but I do like to point it out to people still. And then a little deeper here, looking at Ethereum, Solana, Polygon. Cardano's weird, dude. I don't want to spend any time talking about it, but like Cardano's like almost always up. So it's like if you're interested in little gains, you should probably be looking at Cardano because it doesn't move like the rest of the market does. And I almost always see that in the green. Doesn't matter what the rest of the market's doing. So there's a little, I guess, a pro tip for you. But let's do this. This part's actually pretty freaking spicy. Global NFT sales yesterday. Full screen this. Can you guys see the charts okay? Like, is that hard to see? I'm trying to, like, perfect the view, the layout and stuff. So I wonder if this is even readable for you guys or if I should make it full screen.
I'm on half screen.
Freaking Alan Natcats. You better believe we're talking about those.
Yeah.
What's that, Henry?
No, I said I'm on half screen, so, like, the chart's not very large, but maybe if somebody's on full screen.
Yeah, like, that's. I got to learn how people are watching. Are they on their phone? If they're on their phone, they can't see this at all.
I'm going to ask one of the guys in Kongs.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll do this for now then. Global sales yesterday, 68.6 million, easily our high for 2024 and our highest since mid-December. But I want to put some of this in context, and I'm going to do a little more context after I cover the leaderboard. But even with 68 million sales, and then even comparing that to our high in December, which was 135 mil, that was back on December 15th. Man, I think that's nothing compared to where we were going or where we are going, even if those numbers are what like peak bull market looked like a couple of years back, right? 135 mil a day. Those are numbers we did regularly. I just think we're in for something much different from that. Very excited about what's coming up here in the NFT market. So we'll get into that a little deeper. Trade profits. Let me peek at those real quick because I always use that as a barometer here. 7.2 mil. That may be a high for profits this year. In fact, just a quick scan. Unbelievable. We had that negative almost $12 million day just like a week or two ago. But yeah, I think 7.2 mil is definitely our 2024 high for profits. Again, simple. I point out some very, very obvious things here sometimes, but when traders are winning, traders keep on playing. Again, simple, but it's how it works, right? Your top 10 collections here. It's all Bitcoin, right? You can see that. The general Ordinals collection, which is that is most collections on Bitcoin. They're all lumped in that collection. There's like 30 plus million Ordinals or inscriptions in this category here, or in this collection. 8.7 mil. Node monkeys, you guys have seen, are ripping. Nat cats, we got to get into those, but those are on fire right now too. On ETH, your top collection is Pandora still. They've been the top collection here for, over a month. They're incredible. Wow. Those guys I did not think would have this kind of staying power, but here they are. Parcel HOA on Solana is your top collection over there. You can see the rest on your own. This, I got to blow away some BRC20. I don't have to blow them away. We got a filter here. Okay, Whoa. You can filter those away. And Natcats, that might look like a BRC20, but I think guys here are starting to realize that isn't. That is a new type of NFT or a new type of inscription over on Bitcoin. So we'll talk about Natcats, but there's your leaderboard, guys. And on the right, you see the blockchain rankings. Bitcoin Milton faces right now. And I gotta say, that is not completely comprehensive right this moment. We don't have Quantum Cats on the site yet, and we don't have RSIC, right? There's a new method for inscribing, and we've been updating our crawling stuff, like our backend to be able to support that. That should be live anytime, but all that to say, there's definitely probably like 5+ million extra in there because of volume in those collections. So just a heads up there. All right, let me bring us back on. Boom. All right. Let me know when you get feedback from people too, or anybody here watching. When I have the window this size, is it readable? I don't know if you're on your phones. I don't know if you're on your computer or TV. I watch YouTube shit on TV, so I'd be able to see this perfectly. But this ain't.
Seems like a full screen chart is had some feedback on having a full screen.
Oh, people like that. Okay, cool. Well, that works. We'll go full screen as much as possible then. Do you want to hit on some local news?
Yeah, because I was thinking, Crypto Slam, Slam Vision feels like something worth talking about. Been some tweets this week. We had a raffle in CyberKong, so like, man, excited for what you guys are bringing to the table. I know you can't maybe get into all the details of what you're doing, but I think it's worth maybe hitting some of the high level stuff.
Well, okay, yeah, good point. So, yeah, we'll lead off with that then. I hope you guys saw it. If you didn't see it, man, I'm so excited. Like, I'm extra giddy about this because I've worked at Crypto Slam now for 3 years. And while we've dealt heavily in Web3, we're very much like a Web 1, Web 2 kind of company. We're taking Web 3 data, we're taking blockchain data, and we're putting it on a website for you, right? To just ingest all that data however you want. But we ourselves were not very Web 3 until now. So we are evolving. We're going heavily Web3, and there's so many components to this. But our first real announcement was that we're launching an NFT collection. So like I'm geeking out over this because I've never been part of an NFT launch. Now I get to be. This NFT is going to be on Solana. It's going to be a massive supply. In a way, there'll be kind of an event around it, and the event itself is just gathering. It's celebrating the multi-chain NFT ecosystem, right? So the event is projects from all different blockchains getting these whitelists and being able to ultimately get these NFTs on Solana. And I can just say there's probably more to it, right? It probably doesn't just end at an NFT. There's probably things you can do with it. So I'll leave that there, but that part is exciting. And then, man, what an honor to be able to partner with the CyberKongs, right? We're going to have a bunch of partners for this, but we kind of are just looking for the best here. And again, from across these blockchains, but the CyberKongs are top of my list for everything. You guys see me. I wear a CyberKongs hoodie just about every show. I think the world of them, of course, because my brother's on the team, but that project's something special, right? That was one of the first that I actually fell in love with in 2021. So honored to have you guys as part of this thing too. Man.
Yeah. So, I Crypto Slam has always been, especially with like the revamp of the data, because like the site, massive amounts of data, and data is one of those things where if you're just like, it's a data site, people I think, oh, well, yeah, who cares about data? I'm trying to make money. The reality is it's a tool in the toolbox. And for me, it's become my go-to for looking up any data. And that's pretty fucking important in the type of market that we're in right now, is being able to access data quickly, accurate data. You guys are quoted by Bloomberg, CNN, World Economic Forum. It's funny because so much of what we're into is the flashy shit, right? What influencers pushing this, what influencers pushing that. But when you've got like major news outlets that are quoting you guys, there's something there. I think you guys have the potential for products that can do really well. So I'm excited for what you guys are doing, because I know how hard you guys have been grinding behind the scenes, and like you guys are Animoca backed. I mean, it's funny because a lot of times you're thinking of Animoca as like backing the next game or the next maybe ecosystem. They obviously see something They obviously see something, right? The early investor in Crypto Slam, Mark Cuban invested in Crypto Slam. I'm excited.
Co-founder of LinkedIn, I think, as well. There's some interesting characters. Ashton Kutcher. It's funny because like I saw a reply out there somewhere in the Twitterverse or Xverse saying like, who isn't Animoca backed at this point? And that's true. I giggle about that plenty, but one of the first, like, Crypto Slam's been around since 2018. It's crazy to think it's that old at this point. What, like 6 years old? That's crazy.
By the way, sir, because you don't talk about yourself, they're lucky to have you, for real.
Appreciate it.
No, for real. Like your show, what you bring to them, your insight. You're one of the few people that just is like, you're just honest in your approach. You're really smart. You really understand the space, and because I know you well, you've understood this type of environment long before Web3 was ever a thing. In the early days, it was bootlegging, like Pearl Jam cassettes and videos. It was comics. It was collectibles. Yep. You've always had your pulse on the collectible chain or on the collectible market, and Web3 was just like literally. That this was where you were made to be, sir. So congrats on everything you've done.
Thank
for
you, dude. Appreciate it. I'll give Crypto Slam flowers too. Like, I've never worked at a place that makes you actually feel appreciated, and they've always done that. Always. I love the place in a way I've never loved working in. And you know where people say, they hope you can find work that doesn't feel like work. Or when you find the thing you're supposed to be doing, it doesn't feel like work, something like that, right? It's this place. It's never felt like work. It's always been just like having fun and grinding and being a DJ, and it happens to be my work. But I'm super grateful for all those kind words, man, and for getting to do what I do. I love it. I love it. I love it.
We had you guys at the Kong's party at VCon, the Kong's
awesome.
dinner. The Crypto Slam team came out, and just a great group of people that like understands the space. I know you can't go like deep into everything that's happening over there, but if I understand right, just to kind of sum it up, because like we announced our strategic partnership with you guys, I think on Thursday, NFT comes out, and not a lot of info out about the NFT right now, but basically there's going to be some cool shit that backs the NFT. Is that, I mean, maybe that's not even the best way to say it.
Well, I'll say it like this, because a lot of it is going to be secret up until things are like live. Our founder, Randy, I like this approach of his, and sometimes it's not the best in a space that you have to market yourself. You have to put yourself out there. But he's all about building like in the dark, as far as nobody knows what you're doing, and then he likes to just bam, drop it on you. We know this space though. Like sometimes you got to drip feed it, sometimes you got to blow people away and hype shit up. It's just the space demands what it demands. But yeah, it's safe to say there's a lot more coming. There's a lot more coming. There'll be announcements. There'll be things that I think make the news cycles. And some of it, all degrees of it, as far as there's some huge stuff. There's some just cool stuff at the same time. A lot of different things though. A lot. I'm like, cool. Man, kind of an understatement. It's probably going to be, it's more than we've ever put out at once or shown it once or whatever. Yeah, bar none. I can tease this. Thank you, dude. Yeah, same here. I can tease this. This is this is already launched. It's a soft launch. This is I do not mind this being out there yet, but we are going to have this like a content umbrella, right? You could probably think of it similar to Rug Radio. It's called Slam Vision. Again, you've seen that logo on my show now for probably a few months. And it's just cool how things happen organically. I started doing a show for myself for fun. And then I started seeing this opportunity where man, a lot of great content creators out there. It's obvious that working together probably is better for everybody. Little cross promotion, but also curate that awesome group. Get a really, really solid lineup of people. Again, talk about each other, help each other. Better access to guests. Maybe you get sponsorships too because of that. Maybe it just helps in so many ways. But also I don't feel like people are stepping on each other's toes, but a lot of people are doing the same thing, covering the same news stories. And so a lot of those awesome shows out there on X, it's just the same, the same info all throughout the day. There's a way to then curate that group of creators differently, where you got a guy who does cover the news and it's that more standard format show. And then you got a show that's about technology like virtual reality and video games and all kinds of stuff that's touching the blockchain space, but maybe isn't quite fully here yet. I want a show about music and culture and stuff too, but also shows that are specific to each blockchain. So if you love Bitcoin, we actually do have an Ordinals show on here called Orange Cubicle. That's not on the site quite yet, but the first show is taped. It's out there on X. There's a few others that I think will actually blow people away that are going to be on this show, and they're shows you've heard of that you probably tune into already. So little alpha there, but that part's awesome. This part though, dude, again, this tickled me because like again, Crypto Slam and CyberKongs, I don't think we've ever done anything official like this.
Funny story because we go back with Crypto Slam. Actually, Kongs are notorious for not advertising in any way, shape, or form, right? And the one place that Mio took out we'll call it like an ad prior to the VX mint was on Crypto Slam. The one and only place. So
awesome.
Yeah, no, we're fond of you guys, and yeah, certainly looking forward to it. And I think with the Slam Vision, I tell you this all the time. I hate listening to the majority of Twitter spaces out there. It's a giant circle jerk. The content is garbage. They're bringing very little to the table. It's usually just people who just want to hand each other their flowers back and forth for the entire show. So I think with the type of lineup that you guys are looking to curate, you can actually bring meaningful content. Just like your 5-minute video. It's something easy that can help somebody start their day, get some info, get some facts, and it's not just riddled with the typical cabal talk, right? It's actual good content. So yeah. Looking forward to seeing
Appreciate
what you guys.
I'll show you who we got real quick, and I got English pinned to the screen here. His comment because English is our main host of the Little Noun Show. Man, this guy is an immense talent in spaces. He's really grown his chops here over the past year, especially. And man, English, I was telling Henry he's got to tune into your show if he hasn't recently because you just hit this stride. But the Little Noun Show is part of Slam Vision, and we're going to announce that a little more officially. Also, I'll just say this. I'm going to announce the other shows here, but stay tuning into these things because if you are trying to get on the whitelist for the Crypto Slam NFTs, there's going to be avenues and opportunities through each of these shows. So I can definitely mention that. But yeah, the Little Noun Show part of this, NFT Live, I've grown to love those dudes too. I think they're fucking awesome. They're going to be part of Slam Vision. And again, Orange Cubicle, the Crypto Slam Clubhouse that we've done over years now with Crypto Slam. And again, there's one in particular I'm very, very excited to announce soon. Can't do it yet, but it's a big one. So anyway, there's Slam Vision for you. And English, good morning, buddy. It's great to see you, and you are fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, you want to know English. I think Hoot and I spent maybe 30, 45 minutes talking about you on my drive home the other day. But you want to know something? Part of it stemmed from us talking. Hoot and I formed the Non-Fungible Idiots, the I don't want to call us an alpha group, just the group, right? That has tried to bring value to each other since April of 2021. I think it was when we officially started that. And in the original Idiots group, we had, to be honest with you, we had some people. So we had Carlini there, founder of Penelope's, was the #1 Top Shots holder. We have Low Belly, who went on to become the community manager of Apes. I was in there, Walshy with Avastars, just like obviously Hoot is in there. We just had a really solid group of people in there, but we formed Idiots too because we wanted to open it up. We knew there was like other talent out there. And it's funny because you get these people that come in, they're really active, right? Guys like English and then English, I don't mean to say like you got your wings and then you fly as if you got your wings from us. I don't mean it like that. But you have people that were early and they spent some of their early time, with us. And then they go off and they do cool stuff. And so it's just cool to see that people are making their way in the space. And so shout out to you on that, my friend.
Yep. Do you know, I'll end this little part on this point. We like to talk about the guys in Idiots who have been like building and making a name and making a career for themselves. And we've always talked like ways we can help people do that. And we want to see people doing that on their own. But English is one of those guys who did it. He literally just said, I want to do this thing. And he did it. And he's a dude in the space now. Like he's a dude in the space especially in the Ordinals, the Bitcoin side. Guys, if you're not following English, I'm going to drop a link to his profile on X. This guy is the alpha. He knows he is a gangster on Bitcoin. Most everything I've learned on the Bitcoin side, as far as alpha and stuff, actually comes from him. So he's the guy you really got to be listening. He is working with so many of these projects, and he's just dialed in. So English is the dude for this stuff, especially. Let me just drop this in the chat. While I'm doing that, guys, take a look at this.
What up, Assassin? Sorry, just a couple Kongs that have dropped in. So saying a hello.
Good morning. Ooh. Man, I freaking love seeing Kongs around, dude.
PTW, sir, we are talking at some point. I know we got to flow, but a special birthday tomorrow. When the time is right. When the time's right.
Okay. Oh, I'm curious about that.
Well,
I'll show you real quick. Whose?
CyberKong's.
Oh my God, do that now. Do that right now. Hang on. Let me pull something up on the screen here.
While you're doing that, yeah, March 3rd. So tomorrow, CyberKong's 3rd birthday. Obviously, like that was a call Huda made to me really early, kind of in our Web3 game. And man, it's been a fucking insane ride. Like just an absolutely insane ride. Trading out of a Bored Ape into a Gen Kong, being in that community with you, becoming a moderator, and then community manager, then ultimately onto the council, and just really getting to work in a project that, like, man, you know how much I love Kongs. I know how much you love Kongs. It's been it is my journey. Like, it's not just a big piece of my journey. I feel like Kongs is my journey, and we have one of the, I say we have the best community in Web3 through the Bear. To have the community grow, like literally our community grew through the Bear. That's a hard thing to do. So just really proud of, I always say, like, we're here because of the community, not for the community. And it's just, it's awesome, man. We just brought on another dev, Max, brought him on yesterday officially. So like we're growing, our team's scaling up, just really excited. We got our bridge to Ronin happening very, very soon. Bananas going on Katana. Man, just I don't think we have ever been positioned the way that we're positioned right now, ever. So excited, man. And it's been like such a big part of both of our journeys is being in that project, and me working in Kongs and you working in Crypto Slam, and honestly talking behind the scenes, just about, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And it's just really
I wonder if people like there's Henry influences on Crypto Slam, and there's probably Huda influences on Kongs. Like we talk a lot. It's just like he's my sounding board for everything, like everything, and it's cool how that works. And I'm sure a lot of that goes on behind the scenes, but no,
it's funny.
Part to everything I do.
I remember having a conversation with Mio while back, because like when you're on. It's all new. Like none of us have done this before, right? So you don't know what you can say, and there's things that you don't want to say outside of, like, let's say the council at times. But you're such a huge influence on my journey that there's just things. You taught me so much here. So there's just things that like I can't have a full thought on without discussing with you. Do you know what I mean? Because I really value your opinion on so much of Web3. And I remember talking to Mio about that a long time ago, just like, I talked to my brother about this, and there was no like, oh, well, no, we shouldn't be doing that. I think you're exactly right. I think there's a lot of things when we're thinking things out, and I'm not exactly sure where I fall on something that we talk things out. And dude, let's be real. Like building in the Bear, I don't care what you're doing, is fucking hard, man.
It's brutal, isn't it?
It's really difficult to compare it to anything else IRL, but you've been a massive encouragement and a big part of Kong. So we appreciate you and all the shout outs you give us on your on your daily show. So congrats to all the Kongs that are here. It's been a really awesome journey. And when I say I think we're just getting started, like in a lot of ways, we're just getting started on some cool shit.
Man, so I was telling this narrative of like Bitcoin, where it's at in its cycle lining up perfectly with the NFT market, really coming back here. But there's other projects that it's kind of the same. CyberKong's like perfectly positioned to ride something out with the market itself. Like you have now your assets over on Ronin. You have Play and Collect that'll launch there. I think you guys have some other plans too, and all of that maybe being able to be announced in, like in that ramp up as this cycle's ramping up. It's like perfect opportunity instead of like if you released it all over the past few months and then the bull market comes and there's like nothing new to be able to drop on people. So I think a pretty interesting opportunity just with the timing of shit here too. Yeah. Let me show this real quick too. I've already got myself in tab hell, but I'm checking this like pretty regularly now, looking at the interest like on Google Trend searches. And NFTs definitely starting to ramp up here again. I noticed it a few days ago, but I don't know what the dotted line means, if it's like incomplete data or what, but it's definitely starting to pick up here. So just something to be watching for. And also, another great indicator, Leonidas is totally right about this, but you remember in the peak market in 21, 22, I mean, Coinbase was in the top of the app list, right? These are the little things that you can't find in charts, but they're obvious. When normies are downloading Coinbase, it gives you a little signal, a little sense of where we're actually at in the cycle. And man, we're nowhere near the top. We're nowhere close. We're nowhere near the middle. We are literally just starting here.
Yeah, I think and that brings up a great point where, right now I feel really neurotic, right? Outside of Kong's, just like what to play, Blast, Ordinals, DeFi. And I think really kind of like this weekend, part of what I plan to do is really setting a more refined game plan, because there's so much out there, Barachain and all the farming opportunities and the airdrops. And sometimes it's easier to just fade it, right? Like, man, it's too much work. When the reality is, if you give yourself 15, 20 minutes, you can usually get in. And my point to all that is it's a really good time to really set your plan. Hey, here's my allocation that I have to screw around in shit coins. Here's what I've got to play around in NFTs. This is what I have to play around in Ordinals. I think it's a really smart idea to kind of set your game plan, because I see right now people feel like they already missed. People think that this is the cycle that we just pumped and that was the cycle. And I think the reality is, while we might get a pullback, it really hasn't fully started. Like, we're not in the middle of this super cycle. I'm trying to find a tweet about that. I thought it was an original idea. Shit.
No. It's I mean, it's a thought everyone has as far as having a game plan. And like the gist of his post, and I hope I can find it, but it was like, all of us say we're going to take profits this time. We're not going to round trip things. But then when the time comes, you're right back to the, man, I need to hold longer because this is just, oh, here it is. There it is. Yeah. This is that conundrum, right? You want to take profits. Don't be greedy this time, but you really think things are going higher, right? That's it. We're all stuck. I mean, we get there so quickly. And there was a reply to this. It was the plan, right? That's the point. You have a plan when you go into it. You're not worried about timing the top. You can never really do that. That's all luck. But have a plan and go in that way, and I think you win. You win easier that way. So it's the right thought.
You're not hitting the top. Yeah, you're not hitting the top every time. Make gains. And you told me this in 21. Like, it, you made the right move if it hurts a little bit. I said this last week, but that's the reality is, when you're looking at, okay, is this the time? Is this the time to sell? Yeah, if it hurts a little bit, but you're in the profit, nothing wrong with that. On to the next one. Don't look back.
Yep.
And Rajan, pull back.
I don't.
I think we'll see. Yeah, I think we'll see like little pullbacks, but I think we're on ETH, ETF, FOMO. We still have halving. I'm not even 100% sure exactly how I'm going to play it, but that's part of what I'm figuring out this weekend.
Yep.
I had a
Let me show you guys
January,
this.
February.
Look, because I want to really highlight where in the cycle we're at, right? So like, this is a little obvious because the pattern looks the same, but I think the point that the period we're at right now, right here on the right, is very much what we have here all the way on the left in early 2021, right? You get that initial pump and you just kind of like consolidate for a while. But what's interesting to me is if we're in that kind of period, and I would say most people agree that we're there, both in like the kind of the action that's out there. Look at how many unique, yellow and blue, by the way, that's buyers and sellers. Look at how many buyers and sellers. Look at how many more we have than back then. Back then was like, let's say around 20, 25,000, anywhere from like, let's say 15 to 25,000 unique buyers and sellers, right? Right now in that period that is before the actual run, we're at 60, 70,000, 80,000 buyers and sellers. We're much closer to what we had in that peak market than we are than we were at that consolidation period. So, man, I mean, I give these really kind of mid takes and really obvious ones, but I think they're still important to say out loud. When we get this part of the run, it's going to blow that year away. I mean, it's going to be, we will possibly have a day where we see $1 billion in sales, right? Like it could happen. The run is going to be that much bigger than the last time around. You didn't lose anybody as far as nobody came into NFTs and said, I don't believe this. They definitely pulled back when there weren't gains and stuff. And you clearly see they're coming back in when they're sensing the opportunity is here again, but you didn't lose people. You can't lose belief in a tech. I think if anything, that's just, gets stronger and more fortified as time goes. So all we're going to see, and I think all we are seeing, is actual new people coming in. So this next run, a different kind of potential, different kind of numbers we're going to see in this run. I believe that, and especially because, like I've been saying, it's mostly going to happen on Bitcoin. Like this run is going to be on Bitcoin, a place that already has more liquidity. It probably has more people in that Bitcoin ecosystem. And those things combined just tell me this next run, man, something different.
Okay, I don't disagree that there's going to be an NFT run on Bitcoin. I think that's locked in. But what are your thoughts on there being on the run on ETH being less about NFTs and more on DeFi, with the majority of projects really launching tokens versus 10K collections?
I think that makes a ton of sense, and I think we'll see probably a lot of both. The evidence is all right here in Pandora. And let me actually put us in like the 30-day view. Pandora's your number one collection in the past 30 days by a long shot. And the reason is because they have a token. And the token is actually it's like entwined with the NFT. It's the ERC 404. If you have a full token, you get an NFT minted. If you have a fraction of a token, your NFT is burned. People love that. And it is interesting, and it does have staying power. So I definitely think this next cycle leans more on the DeFi side. It's projects that either get exposure to coins or are more coin focused. But I mean, I think you're nailing it with that call, that in general, that it's about DeFi stuff. And Pandora, I think, is that evidence.
When will you guys have blast data? On CryptoSlam?
I think imminently. It's definitely being worked on like now. In fact, I don't know for certain. I think it might have got prioritized ahead of getting that Bitcoin part updated, right, to cover those others. And I think that was 90% ready to go too. But Blast is a huge priority because it's probably going to be your number 2, number 3 blockchain on any given day. Could be number 1. Could be. So yeah, huge priority.
Yeah, Blastopians have had a decent run with their mint yesterday, 0.03. Right now,
that was the first collection, right? The first NFT.
I feel like it might have been the second collection. I thought it was the first, but I think there was another collection that had launched. But they're aiming to be like the PFP of Blast. Floor is like 0.09. If you stake your Blastopian, you get Blast points. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens with that. I'm seriously thinking of maybe like, I have 2, thinking of maybe grabbing like 10.
What are they at? What's the floor?
0.09 offers around 0.08. I think around 3,200 of them are staked right now. So
10K supply?
5K.
Oh shit. Yeah. I think I need to bridge something over and grab one.
I just think it makes sense. I think what they're doing is taking their Blast developer, their gold points, I think, and they're going to distribute them to people who have their Blastopian staked. So it's just another opportunity to get Blast points. And I just don't think fading Blast makes any sense. I mean, especially once they have like their marketplace over there. The current marketplace is Element, and it's absolute garbage. I think when we get like their marketplace, like Blur type marketplace, it's going to do really well.
Well, when April comes around, you'll be able to trade Blast NFTs on Blur. And I cannot remember. There's another marketplace that I think has that integration coming this week. I got to look that up. Hopefully I bookmarked the tweet, but that's not far off. I'm watching so closely to see if Ethereum trading action gets like leached by Blast. To me, it makes sense that it does. I want to talk Blast for a minute. I'm going to end this part here. I just want to show unique buyers and sellers on Bitcoin. And again, we have to come back to Bitcoin still to talk projects, but the unique buyers and sellers is still nothing. It's still nothing compared to what we see on ETH. I'd put out this tweet and I talk about it a lot. Like I'm just trying to put that info out in front of people. It's definitely ramped up, right? Like we were seeing 2, 3, 4,000 at the beginning of February, and we saw the same in January. Well, you've seen these prices start to go ballistic, and it's because more people are coming in. But that's still half, maybe a third of what we see over on Ethereum. And it's like, man, a fifth or a sixth of what we see over on Solana. So again, so sure, even with the prices we see on some of these Bitcoin collections, it's nothing. This is nothing compared to where we're going. Now, we'll come back to Bitcoin because there's still a lot more to talk about. But Blast, I think, is a great topic to get into. I've seen a lot of FUD around Blast. I got to say that, and I'm kind of surprised. I don't know if you've seen this similar or not, but
No,
so.
it had been going on for a while. Funds being sent to basically a gnosis, and maybe that's not even the FUD or a multi-sig, I should say. Maybe that's not the FUD you're referring to, but
it's more FUD of like post-launch. People are like, this isn't fun, and maybe it's less rewarding than they thought. I'll say this: that just goes to say traders don't actually give a shit unless they're making profit. That is all anything's about. If they're winning, this would be the most exciting thing ever, the best product ever. The fact that maybe they're earning a little less than they were expecting, well, all of a sudden it's not as good a product, right? Like just how traders think. It's kind of bonkers, but it's true. But like posts like this from is it Cyrus? But saying he's kind of boring, debating withdrawing, buying more Bitcoin and ordinals and shit. And he wasn't the only one saying that. Beanie shared some thoughts there too.
What did Beanie say?
Maybe wondering if there is some burnout here, like a shift in the meta, like he says gamification doesn't need to mean Ponzi. Maybe people are really tired of that grinding for points game, which I don't believe. Again, I think if the profits are there, they're not going to mind one bit. But if you have just as easy an opportunity somewhere else by flipping a JPEG, people will go for that anytime because it's easier. One transaction and boom, you win. So to me, that makes sense. But as soon as this becomes profitable, everyone's going to be licking that right on up. I mean, really, that's easy.
I mean, it's not much different than the other farming mechanics that are out there. Farming on any chain for an airdrop. So, I get what he's saying because I hate all of it. I say I hate it because I just hate. It's just also weird. I was trying to farm Barachain, and it was unbelievably frustrating. And I'm like, man, I don't know what it ultimately does other than the farming, increases their numbers and makes it look good to VCs. Like, hey, look how many transactions we have. Look how many unique wallets we have. But at the end of the day, it's work.
That's it. So Cyrus may have pulled some money out and he bought himself a Bitcoin shroom. Spent like 300 grand, dude. I know English has got one of those. Congrats on that, man. That's a big one. Man, we had an opportunity as a group to get one. We just couldn't put the funds together, but those are a big old deal. But yeah, those gains, those opportunities, I think are on Bitcoin right now. This part, again, this isn't news or shouldn't have been to anybody, but I didn't know it. There's a 14-day period to withdraw your funds from Blast. And then I hear people refer to kind of more Ponzi-nomics, more hoops to jump through to start accruing points. And I'm not in this at all. I have not even connected a wallet to Blast. I have no understanding of it, but I just see a lot of stuff like this. Either way, it'll be fine. I'm with you. In fact, today might try to make it my first purchase. I do want to grab that NFT.
I think that I might be wrong on this, but I thought you could withdraw earlier if you use like Orbiter or another bridge.
I think you're totally right. Somebody had replied here, wherever that was, that there are other bridges. Yeah, there you go.
Don't mind me. I'm just gonna try to buy some Blastopians while we're having a chat.
Let me know what the price is at on them too.
I think they're right around 0.1. I'm just, right. You know what it is, dude? It's I'm just like, fuck it. I think the whole thing is a lot of work, but at the end of the day, part of me is like, yeah, well, so is everything, and I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss out. So I'm willing to take a little bit of a gamble on it.
Yep, that seems like a smart one. Like really, there's not even a real legit marketplace yet. So that seems like an easy one. Shit, I need to try. I need to get liquid.
I feel like it's one of those things where you're gonna look back in 2 months and be like, oh yeah, man, I could have got that at 0.1. And if Blastopians,
you better hurry with that buy, man, because
coming in, man, coming in. Dude, this reminds me of the little FOMO bitch I was in 2021. But I just think it's one of those things. It's worth the gamble for the points. Maybe I even just break even on it, but who knows? And it's worth it to me.
How do points work on like this specifically? Would you, if I send you an ETH, would you just grab me one and like hold it and you can do whatever with the points?
You only need 0.1.
I just don't want to bridge. Like,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you don't have to.
No. Yeah, send it over.
Look at these things. These are flying, right?
Yeah.
No, you know what? I got to do it. I can't not learn the ecosystem. It's something everyone's going to be talking about. Oh, so this is the marketplace.
Are you on Element?
Yeah.
Sorry, I got my
Yeah. Man, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna pick this up today. How's gas? Probably brutal, right?
Gas. So you need to. Here's what's funky: is you have to bridge over to their L2, and then you have to basically do a transaction to bridge from their L2 to their mainnet.
Oh god.
So it's like, yeah, it's a little bit funky, but you get points doing that. So, yay for getting points.
That's cool. All right, again, I gotta get in and feel it out. Lute's saying he thinks there was a different project that was the first on Blast. Let me see if I can find that real quick.
Yeah, I think he's right, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. I don't know if it started with a W. Oh, modular. Okay.
Wonder what they're at. If this is the right collection here, probably not. I don't know. We'll get deeper into that. I don't have a lot of other thoughts about Blast because it's too early. I mean, it's just been a couple days. And again, with the conference going on, I just think the broader community, like some of the more vocal and active guys, have not even weighed in yet. So next week's going to be different, both narrative and I think action in the market. Should be exciting. But guys, let's get, let's do it. Let's get into Bitcoin. We're doing it. All right. You know what it'll start with is saying that Bitcoin, no, not Bitcoin, node monkeys. Like definitively, they're the crypto punks. They're the fucking crypto punks of Bitcoin. I think it's pretty clear at this point because you know what they got, unlike other collections? Man, they just have that narrative of the collectible, the end. There's nothing else. There's no utility, and plenty say that, right? But they feel that. They feel like that is what they are. That's all about the provenance. It's all about the community, and it's all about having the premium, kind of top dog collectible, you owning it. Like it's such a flex now. So, I mean, again, pretty obvious, pretty clear. Node monkeys are the crypto punk of Bitcoin. And man, okay, we got to watch out and see if the node monkey floor flips crypto punks. That's a real possibility. That sounds bonkers, but that's a real possibility down the road. English, I'd love to know what you think about that. What's up, Rebel? Good to see you, brother. Assassin, that is cool. Yeah, I've read about it. I don't know how exactly it works, but anything to get fees down, like, has to happen. The fees are so fucked at this point because there's so many other alternative places you can trade. Man, people feel like they're done paying those kind of fees. Like, unless you have to, like, people hate it. All right, node monkeys though. Yeah, go ahead, Henry.
No, which fees was he talking about?
Just gas fees in general. There is supposed to be an upgrade, like a soft fork on Ethereum that that makes some kind of impact on fees. Nodes are down to 0.56. Good shit.
Yeah, not. But what were they at? 0.6?
They got it to like 0.63. They got up there, man.
Crazy.
Quantum Cats, like, man. Those are weird.
That might be. Yeah, tell me your thoughts on it. But I know, are we getting into node monkeys now, or getting into just?
I think we'll do some general chat. Yeah, I guess we. It makes sense to stay on node monkeys for a bit, just because you guys, I think, saw the pretty violent price action in the collection. Man, they were 0.2 something just a week ago. I feel pretty sure about that. Shooting up to over half a Bitcoin floor, getting over 0.62. I think everyone's really sure at this point these are going to be 1 Bitcoin, but probably more like 2 or 3 Bitcoin, like in the peak of this market. A lot of potential, like just so much freaking potential. Rajan, I'm surprised you sold, but also it's really, really smart because you can buy back in cheaper, I think. Yeah, I mean, okay, they got to 0.65. English, what do you think their ceiling is? Like as far as the top, that their highest floor? 0.665. Hey.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
Oh my God. And again, just referring back to those charts, seeing where we're at in the cycle and how few people are in. If there's like 6,000 to 8,000 people buying and that amount of people push those floor prices up, what happens when it's like 30,000 people trying to buy and ultimately 40, 50, whatever it is, right? It's nobody. There's still so few people. But those rich dudes are coming in.
Yeah. So then the question is, what's the next
Yeah.
one? Being that 0.65 is a little bit outside of a lot of people's price ranges.
That's like the best question right now. That's like, okay, that's why things are so spicy in Bitcoin because, yeah, dude, node monkeys are out of most people's price range. Even quantum cats, same thing. I mean, they're not cheap. I got some thoughts about them that I'll share too, especially with English here. But it's like, what do you trade then? Well, you're starting to see these other collections pop up that are actually getting a lot of volume and people are finding a lot of profits because they're cheap. Because people can't afford those big ones, so they got to go for what's cheap and what's now. And all of a sudden, there's opportunities all over Bitcoin. So, okay, Nat Cats, that's not a perfect example, although it's a great one, and that is one that I think people need to probably focus on. It's one I'm targeting to get. But Puppet Maxi Biz, great example. Like, perfect example. Brand new collection, had a cool narrative, kind of. The community FOMOing over it. Cheap. They minted it $10 or so. They got up to like $1,600. What else? There were a whole bunch of other ones here too. Let me get into like the 24-hour view. But all of this, the point of this is to say there's new mints popping up that are dirt cheap or free, and everybody, all these new buyers are FOMOing into them because again, they can't afford those expensive guys. So like these shitty looking things, what even are these? But like these went out, these blew up. I mean, they didn't hit any kind of astronomical price, but there was profits in this collection. There were profits in this. Actually, I mean, I think people have seen like a 500% increase in this collection.
Yeah, English talking Oni is that this week or have they not announced the mint date on that? I feel like that was coming up.
Yeah, I don't know what the mint date is. Let me go through some of these comments. Program for 1 Bitcoin for sure. And yes. 0.8 will be the, what's that? Exit local top or
I think you said is it the next local top?
Next local top. Okay, they hit 0.8 and then they bounce, they pull back. Okay. I want to know, English, your thoughts on all-time high. Like what is the absolute, like picture over the summer, later this year, whenever we hit the peak of the market this year, where do you see them at? And Oni One, dude, or Oni Force, whatever they're called. Can't wait. I actually think I have a whitelist for that thanks to the Ordinal miners community, which I love. Got a whitelist there. So
nice.
Man.
I got one.
Good shit.
Yeah. Looking forward to that.
English, any price predictions on Oni One? I know we're bouncing around now, but man, when we get in the flow, you got to stay in the flow. Oni One Force. Dude, they got a lot of followers. I don't remember them having that much. But let me find the new characters. They're not side facing, they're forward facing. It's how you can tell the difference. And I think they're villains. Yeah, I think this is them. Okay, 0.0098. Dude, that's a phenomenal mint price. That's awesome.
What are they? 0.01 or somewhere around there?
Basically 0.01.
I mean 0.01.
And if you're whitelisted, I think, or like if you're in the guaranteed phase, I think they were like 0.006. I might be wrong, but I thought that was the case. Public sale, and they could have changed things, but public sale was going to be like 0.015 or something like that. That was the last I heard.
Wow, man.
March 11 to 12.
Blastopians, literally before the show, Blastopians were like 0.07. They're 0.14 right now.
Oh, damn. God damn it.
I'm gonna wait for a pullback.
Pepinals. I'll see if I can figure out what those were, or if I already showed those, but I don't think I think much of them quite yet. Okay. All-time high for this cycle. Is that Oni One or Oni Force English?
you might be
I'm
talking
trying to get your
Bitcoin.
all-time high for node monkeys. But yes, you're right. Also Oniforce. So 0.03 to 0.05 for Oniforce is his call. And guys, English is like, man, he's very good at calling these. He's like in the Matrix over there on Bitcoin. Like he sees it and he feels it and he knows what's coming. No. Monkeys?
Oh, I think he's saying monkeys all-time high this cycle.
120K is their all-time high?
No, he's saying it will be in this cycle, 120K. Also, I'm not LOLing you, English. I'm LOLing Rye about his cope.
Okay, so 100. Okay, so that puts him at around 2 Bitcoin. Yeah. Okay. There we go. That makes sense. I buy that. Okay, and then Oniforce. That was your call for 0.03 to 0.05.
Yeah. That's what he's saying.
I need Henry to translate English for me. I told you, dude, you're such a smart ass. I can never tell anything that you're saying. Like what if you're being a like you know, you're a difficult man.
Okay. This is a great example of FOMO right now, right? So Blastopian's 2x in the last like hour and a half. So then you sit here and go, okay, are we going to get a pullback, or are these on their way to like 0.2? Because literally an hour and a half ago, I wanted to buy 10 of these. And now I'm thinking at 0.14, it doesn't feel as sexy. So,
well, then I hope for a pullback because I won't.
Yeah. It's like you hope for it, and then you watch it, make its next run.
Okay. English has lost me again.
English is saying that he thinks that node monkeys will be 0.8 Bitcoin with Bitcoin at 150K. So what is that? 120,000.
Do you think people are going to factor in USD?
To be completely honest with you, I'm not sure. And I only say that because in 2021 we saw projects that still had like massive upward trajectories, even when like ETH was running.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Kongs or Apes hitting triple digits at all-time highs of ETH.
Yep. Agreed, Dad. This is where I lean into my spidey sense. I think nodes. Well, I mean, English said this before. He said 1 to 2 Bitcoin at somewhere. I think I saw that. But yeah, dude, I think they're a 2 to 3 Bitcoin project in that fucking peak. Like somebody said, if Michael Saylor drops one as his PFP, then yeah. Man, I mean, look at this. Okay. Here's a guy who's collected 50 nodes, like spent $1.6 million collecting node monkeys at 0.6. I'm sure a whole range, but at 0.6, he's still buying them too, man. That just shows some hunger out there for him. And then the rare ones right now, again, still not in the peak of this market, getting offers of 5.5 Bitcoin and 3 Bitcoin. I mean, come on.
Another alien punk, I think, had another $14 million offer. Am I right on that?
You're spot on. That it's the same bidder, but he's taking the bid from the one and moving it to the next alien punk. He's basically saying, take it or it's going to be gone. So take that offer when it's there if you're even enticed, because he's not far off from their asking price. He's off by maybe like, I mean, definitely thousands. I don't know if it's like 50,000, maybe a couple 100,000, but the difference between 14 mil and maybe like 13.75 mil, or you know what I mean? It's like that. So he's basically saying, take it or the offer's not going to be there tomorrow. Super fucking interesting. Man, that stuff excites me so much. Bitcoin though, let's stay on this. I showed shrooms. I'm going to show you some of my calls on Bitcoin. What I think is, what to be focusing on if you can't get into a node monkey. Let me clear out some of these tabs too. Definitely Oniforce coming up here. English, I got to say, I wish there was a little more excitement in Quantum Cats, but it's also not built for that. It's built to be a cultural thing. But that's the reason we're not seeing the floor price take off. Like they do the spaces and it's a lot of just casual hanging out with the community, chit-chatting, and then finally some action items in the form of a quest. But none of it feels like stuff that moves the needle yet, and it's why you're not seeing people like pushing that price like you're seeing with node monkeys. That will happen one day.
Can we talk about Quantum Cats for a minute? Because I'm considering one, so I'm kind of curious people's thoughts. Because I'm not deep in their culture at all. I'm just watching it from the sidelines. You've obviously been in it. So yeah, just kind of curious if it's a play.
It's a major play. It's going to be a slow play, but it's going to be a major play. Let's peek at the prices here. Like, just give it some more context. Definitely a play. They're another one that I think is going to be over a Bitcoin in the peak of the market.
Is this a Kongs v Apes type of thing? I don't mean versus each other, but like the Node Monkeys 10K collection, lots of hype influencers. Quantum Cats have the tech innovating, and smaller size collection maybe doesn't have the same type of influencer power behind it, but still can steadily chug along.
So I think there's even something a little different where I think they have greater influencer power. They're just not like sexy right now because it's just been a little stagnant on the news front for a couple of weeks. Like, okay, we're bringing back OP code, this OP cat code. But like, what do we do in the meantime? How are we doing it? Those details are just starting to come out. But like Udi made it clear, developers are telling him they want it. And all these guys building on Bitcoin are saying they want it. So it's like, it sounds like a thing that's going to happen. It's in their test net too. It's there to play with. I think the goal or what's going to happen is he's going to get the community to go build stuff on testnet to show how it's going to buff Bitcoin with L2s and programmable money, better user interfaces, right? And then when you show everybody how it actually does enhance Bitcoin and makes it so much more usable, it's just a thing that'll lead to a fork. But the way to do it is by building on testnet. And I think that's their angle. But for now, yeah, they're just not that. They haven't moved as violently, so they didn't catch any, that FOMO action. They got nobody really chasing it. But the fact that they've held at like 0.25-ish, like right around this range where they're at now, they really only have one direction to go, which is up. And I also think you're going to get a lot of these guys in Node Monkeys because there's still like a 2-to-1 holder count, right? I think. Yeah, 10K, there's under 5,000 holders. A lot of guys are going to sell those and get into Quantum Cats, I think, if they don't have one already. So yeah, Quantum Cats are definitely a special collection. They're definitely going to be very pricey. It's easy if it's in your range right now. At some point, they're not going to be. I mean, I'm with Dead here. I think they're going to be 1 or 2 Bitcoin.
Okay, yeah, they're in my range. So I've okay. So then, because like the metadata changes on them, are there particular things to look for in them, or is it really about aesthetics?
It's you can definitely look for traits because there are rare traits. There's a lot, like there's so much that's secretive. Like there's a lot of Easter eggs in the traits, and the way that these are going to evolve over time, and again they do evolve. A lot of that has to do with just I can't even speak to it. English would have to. There's just a lot. There's clearly more going on here, and it was thought out ahead of time with the way these reveal and what these different perks mean. But ultimately, it plays along with that theme of bringing back this tech, that OP cat. And so the cats are going to evolve right with it. So like when the community hits certain milestones, the cats evolve. And I actually wonder if some of the cats evolve differently. Like you have to do this quest, and if you don't do this quest, maybe you don't get that evolution. So I don't know if that's the case, but I just think they have maybe that ability. Maybe. Could be wrong there.
Sorry, trying to plug in my laptop.
Where can you find the best Ordinal alpha? I'll tell you this. It's definitely English. I talk about Ordinals plenty, and I'll tell you my thoughts on anything and everything in the Ordinals ecosystem. I know it well. Got my first Ordinal within, like early February, like basically at the start. But I still got to say, honey badgers are like a very great entry point for alpha and for getting dipping your toes into this ecosystem because they're cheap. They're cheap and they actually have a narrative where let me find them. Okay. Honey badgers, you could argue, are the first original 10K collection over on Bitcoin. They have phenomenal alpha. Again, they do. They're super degen. Great info there. Really good team, all that stuff. But the story is, actually, I'll pull up Node Monkeys to compare. Look at the inscription numbers here. Node Monkeys started at 83,522. And this is part of their claim to fame, is that they're the first 10K collection, or first original 10K collection. Honey Badger's got them beat. Difference is they didn't mint out the entire collection or inscribe the collection until well after Node Monkeys got the whole thing inscribed. But then that gets you to a debate of, does it matter when you sold out the collection and actually got them inscribed, or does it matter when you started and announced that, we are a 10K collection, which they were that from the start? So I think at the very least, they're always in that conversation. I think it always keeps them in the narrative. It keeps probably a lot of attention and people buying into it just because they're always going to be relevant. Always. Anybody talks about Node Monkeys as being the first, someone's always going to bring up honey badgers. To me, that gives them a kind of value that, a lot of other 10K collections just can't have.
Yeah.
A monkey.
I love the Badgers. Great community. D-gens. Feisty D-gens.
Yeah, man. Yep. And if you want to learn, it's a great place to learn. Very, very techie guys for that price too. I mean, they can fall back to like 0.005, 0.008, whatever. But at 0.01, you're still going to win on these things too when we start really rocking. They were up to 0.025 just yesterday, day before. I think we'll see these at 0.1 eventually as well. So I think those are an easy entry and great place to learn.
All right, I think I'm going to buy a Quantum Cat today.
Oh, that'd be awesome, dude.
I think that's going to happen.
You aren't going to lose on it. You are definitely going to gain. It will hold its value. If you ever need liquidity, it'll always be there in that collection, but they only have room to fly. What are monkey babies? Is that monkey baby business?
Is that puppy monkey baby?
Why am I looking at Solana? What the...
Yeah, English. How come nobody's made a puppy monkey baby collection yet? I mean, that surprises the hell out of me. It probably does exist somewhere.
I don't know BRC 420s, by the way, and I think a lot of BRC whatevers may not matter here in about a month when the halving comes and we get runes. English, can you drop a link to monkey babies?
Would you say there's any issue picking up a floor Quantum Cat?
Oh, look at these guys. Here's monkey babies. I'm not very bullish on those cyborg things. I've got one of the first, if not the first one, I think, and just get not bad vibes. I get no good vibes from it. Dude, I'm so illiquid. I can't afford anything right now. So I'm trying to sell. I'm trying to move some shit. Those are cool. Yeah. Yeah. Guys, English says it. He is the alpha.
And Omega.
My kids are always talking like their kids are fucking weird. They've got this song about being a Sigma. Like, it's just, kids have like these weird things that get into like their little.
What
is it?
Yeah. So is that like being a beta male? Is a Sigma like a beta?
I think it's even a little different.
Now we need a cool kid in the chat to tell us what a Sigma is.
ChatGPT, what is a Sigma? Standard deviation. It is I don't know. I'm such a fucking boomer. Anyway, dude, I can't wait. Like, total sidebar here. I can't wait till this show or like this next iteration, the daily show, is every bit about NFTs too, but also it's just chit-chatting about everything. I think that's what my daily show is going to end up being. An evening show that is definitely talking NFTs, but pack that into like 10, 15 minutes, and then we talk about Dune, and we talk about life stuff, and just all, like, everything. I think that'd be entertaining, because at this point, man, a lot of people in this community are friends, and we all share similar stories and are into the same stuff. I think something like that would do awesome. So then picture getting a project founder. Imagine getting Luca Netz into an NFT show to talk about NFTs a little bit, but then just life shit. I want to hear those guys' perspective on other stuff that's not NFTs. I just want to get to know them. So maybe that's creepy.
I just want to know, sir, on the floor, there are two cats, number 597 and number 2676. They're both 0.27.
Okay, hang on. We're looking. Here's the thing. There is a rarity chart. I got to find you the graphic for the rarity chart. It's just the tricky thing is they all have like 10 more traits that are going to unveil. And so you don't know. You might have one that looks like nothing right now. Like mine looks like the floor of a floor, but he could end up evolving to be super fucking cool. We might need English's help for this one, but it's hard. It's what do you like better? This is an alive cat. This is a dead cat. You know, there's a difference there.
Okay.
There's just there's some now. If you hold one of each, you get a different a role in Discord, and I do think it'll get you something. I don't even know what that something is, but they're definitely playing on this dead versus alive theme. Yeah, some of those traits are listed. I think maybe there's definitely more that come. They both look cool, so it's more like, do you want to be team dead or alive?
Well, I mean, because of dead, I kind of feel like I go the route of dead.
Dead's team
English,
dead as well, so am I.
English, you have any thoughts on the 2-floor quantum cats?
Let me pull that back.
Sorry, not trying to make this about me.
Dude, no, please. Dude, come on. English, I've been feeling that. I really think that's the case. I don't think there's a lot of people in there with conviction. I think there's a lot of ETH bros that got in there, do their pumpy thing, and then out. I do think puppets may have peaked.
First one, number 597. I kind of like him.
Yeah, he's great.
Fuck it. We're doing it.
Puppets would be smart to roll that into a quantum cat. A lot of them got multiple, so. And they were dirt cheap, too.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm in,
good
sir.
Call there, Randall.
I'm in.
Dude, welcome to the fucking cats. G meow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. This is it's like a milestone.
G meow. I'd like to thank a few people along the way, mostly Arsic, for the airdrop of 3 of those fuckers.
Wow.
And
good Lord.
Yeah. Dude, I tried like hell to buy these, but obviously it was, I don't want to say it was botted. Maybe it was at public sale. I didn't have whitelist, and yeah, couldn't get it. So happy to be in.
Dude, congrats. You've got a grail. Like, I mean, you got a grail. You got an inscription here that's going to be worth over a Bitcoin. You do. Like, I'm so sure of it. And it's probably going to be multiple. Like, huge big balls play there. Like, awesome. Congrats, man. And I recommend anyone else who's still looking for the Ordinal to get in here. Okay, got to say, never financial advice. Not financial advice. It's just like friendly advice. How about that? How does that work?
Yeah.
But I feel very strongly about the collection. I believe in the team tremendously. I think they're influential. I think they're pushing the tech in a way nobody else is. I think they check every box. And I think all those big influencers who are in Node Monkeys and in any of the other very loud projects, they're also in here. They're just not talking about it right now because they got to pump their Node Monkey bags. But they're all in here too, believe me.
I wanted something on Bitcoin because I like the Ordinal space. I wanted something that was like an iconic collection on the chain, so obviously Node Monkeys ran away from me. All you, so many of you idiots are in Quantum Cats. So yeah, happy to be in, sirs.
I'm so happy you're in. I don't know. Like, it's extra fun when you're riding with somebody that you love. Like it is. It's just like that much more fun. Cause like any news happens, we're on the phone, like just going ape shit about it. Like awesome.
Yeah.
Next thing that I think is worth keeping an eye on, guys, and this is an interesting dynamic collection, but these Nat Cats, okay, couple elements to these. I think they'll be hot. Of course, curious to get English's thoughts. First of all, okay, the supply actually increases. I don't know how. I don't know what mechanic triggers that, but the supply will increase. And also right now the holder, ratio is not phenomenal. It's better than yesterday already, but 8,000 of these right now, 2,000 holders. So mostly everybody there holding, 4. Is that right? Yeah. So everybody there basically holding 4 of these cats. You can definitely expect prices to come down on these. I think you got a little time. I will say I think some of the Bitcoin holders have been very good about holding because they do get the potential here. So maybe it doesn't work out exactly that way, but watch for opportunities in Nat Cats, Dead in English, especially if you guys got any thoughts here. Oh, hang on. More important, Sigma is like an alpha. Okay, thank you. Chi chains. Scroll up. I dropped his Twitter, whatever, his link to his Twitter account. It's English NFT. If you search at English NFT, you're going to find him. Bearish part of cats was their mint. Absolutely. I still don't know if it was bought. Yeah, no, it was. That was stupid to say. Yeah, mint wasn't amazing. Any those PMBs were wild. I grabbed one on secondary and I flipped out quickly. But yeah, I think Nat cats are definitely something to watch. I guess if I'm throwing out random price predictions like 0.15, I think is probably easy for them. And again, like in peak times, I mean, it may be a quarter. It's hard to say because of the increasing supply. But keep those on your radar, guys. I do think those are. I think those guys are special. What else? Again, some really obvious ones, but I got to point out the obvious ones. Like here, let me point out one that to me was very obvious and has already been playing out. You can get golden ratios a few weeks back, and I was recommending that people grab them for 0.07, 0.08, 0.09. Well, floor is now 0.25. So I believed, I guess I'm not trying to pump my bags per se, but I do want to show that if you believe in a collection, you got to go and you got to do something about it. I believed in this collection and I bought it a piece well above floor. I went and I looked for rare traits and I got one of these with the Fibonacci trait, and the floor on those is 1 Bitcoin right now. You see in the activity, guys, people going above floor, picking out nice looking ones, like nice compositions, picking out rare stuff. And at this point, kind of all that's left is the floor right now. Keep watching for opportunities, but I do think this may be at a point now where it's not coming back to that 0.07. I think that's done. I think these now remain 0.1 and above. These at 0.15, I think, is still something you may want to hold, because I think these are going to be 1 Bitcoin as well. That listed ratio too has come down nicely. So these are in a good spot. So keep your eyes on golden ratio. I think they're a buy. Maybe they come back to 0.2, but I think at a quarter Bitcoin, if you have enough liquid, right? And if you believe that we haven't seen an art cycle yet, because I'm telling you, we have not seen, man, PFPs, multiple PFPs that are 10K edition collections have gotten to half Bitcoin floors. This collection's 420. There's so much potential for these kind of things. And again, we have not seen an art cycle yet, and we're going to. Now, same artist here has this other collection. It's a 10K collection of generative art. Absolutely a play here as well. 0.004 right now. And again, with 10K PFP collections being able to hold a 0.15, 0.27, 0.6, whatever floor, well, you've got a 10K art collection at 0.004. He's probably about the biggest name on Bitcoin right now in the art space. I'll say top 3. And do with that what you will. I have a feeling we're going to see his work at Sotheby's one day. And I guess you know what happens after that, right?
To zero, sir.
Let's see. Okay. He was bullish on Nat Cats until he saw the collection. They all look the same. You're right. Okay, interesting. All right. Again, I follow English's lead. Hold on Nat Cats. Hold the line. Yeah, wait and see if they come back, come down quite a bit. Watch and see what the narrative is. I definitely see big collectors in that and accumulating, but that's not everything. It's just not. Now, let me see if I had any other recommendations, but it's obvious. It's Quantum Cats. It's look for node monkeys as they dip. It's definitely golden ratio. It's definitely these floriforms. I'll tell you this. I do think there's a play in Flare still. At 0.02, whatever.
0.03?
Yeah,
okay.
Basically 0.03. At that price, again, still not having hit the art cycle, the artist behind the Quantum Cats, when we hit the art cycle and when Quantum Cats really start making becoming a household name, I guess, this will see some action because of that. I think these at 0.03, you're going to, 2, 3x. I think it definitely has that potential. I think it has more, but I mean a safe 2x, I think, at least here. Oh, of Nat Cats, yeah. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, it's that holder ratio again. That's going to kill it. So hopefully we see Nat Cats come down to even maybe 0.03 or something like that. That might be a little juicy. But those are my probably my main calls. And again, none of them are cheap except honey badgers. So I got to throw honey badgers up there again. And maybe this helps too. A little pricing of these things in ETH terms. Okay, Bitcoin shrooms, man, 67 ETH floor. Is that right?
Wow.
I think it is right. It might depend on which shrooms too, because, well, hang on. They're like a 1.5 Bitcoin. That was the offering price, is 1.5 Bitcoin or so on those Bitcoin shrooms. That would put it up there around 60 ETH. I don't know if those numbers are exactly right, but the floor is actually up since then too. OMBs are 14.5 ETH. Node Monkeys 12.3. Quantum Cats over 5 ETH. Anything else that's standing out? Badgers. It's still Badgers at basically 0.21 ETH.
Isn't that funny, man? When you think of like a Quantum Cat, I'm only saying that because I just got one at 5 ETH. And then you think of collections like Punks or Apes or anything with, multi ETH floors. It's nothing.
It's where
certainly not bull
comes
market
from.
pricing.
It's absolutely right. And that's why I'm so sure these can hold a higher price than anything we saw on ETH, because the number game, like the numbers are so different. 0.1 over here means a whole hell of a lot than like a whole number on Ethereum.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
just very, very exciting here. Honey badgers, I'll say them over and over. I do think that's the easiest play out there. You're not gonna retire with honey badgers, but it's a very, very easy play. Getting one just for the alpha, I think, is a big winning play.
Yeah, I mean, like Badgers got Sappos. Sappos got what was the rune one? The little fairy looking thing.
Those I know what you're talking about. I have not gotten a single airdrop. Nothing. Not a single airdrop for anything. None. Crazy.
Really?
Yep, nothing.
That is crazy.
This is totally random, but I think we're getting much closer to Leonidas's runes. His runes collection. Of course, it's got to wait for runes to actually be live, but he is working on an airdrop that's for people who are, mostly early collecting ordinals. Let me see if he had announced this, but somebody else pointed out he might have actually put it in Discord, but he basically had a post somewhere. Oh, I gotta mention this. He had a post somewhere though saying that the rune stuff was kind of ready. But guys, if you missed this week, the biggest ordinal sale to date. So inscription number 2, like literally the second ever inscription here, sold for $1.4 million.
Wow. Nothing when you think of it. Like absolutely nothing when you think of it. When you got, punks with $14 million offers on them right now. Yeah. A lot of room to run.
A ton. And those early ones, man, like I think that the first 100 ordinals or inscriptions got that special kind of value. Maybe the first 1,000. I'm not sold on that entirely, although they hold extra value. When you get to like the 10K club, I don't think it matters too much at all. But man, you get the first or second or third inscription, man. That's generational wealth down the road. It is. You get those super wealthy Bitcoin guys in who it clicks. They get the aha moment with collectibles and they want their piece of history. I'm talking guys who are sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. They're gonna go for a flex. They will all want to flex, and man, in a way that brings us full circle is. There are very few flexes on Bitcoin right now, and they're going to want them. They're going to want these at some point. It's just simple math. All right. Any other thoughts on Bitcoin in general? Projects to look for, predictions on collections, Oni Force, of course, probably the biggest mint coming up. Any other mints on the horizon, guys? And Rebel, if you're talking about Badgers. Oh, actually, hang on. Bitcoin Wizards. Yeah, you know what? Let me mention those two because I'm curious about these. These are early, man. These are, early-ish. But early inscriptions, these would have been about February, March of last year. I don't really know if Udi was involved with this, but clearly this is part of like, the culture there on Bitcoin, that wizard in particular. Yeah, so the OG collection of wizards. So if Taproot does well, it'll bring eyes to the original creator, Mavenbot.
You know what sorry, when you're done with this thought, I just had an overarching thought on Bitcoin, because like this might not make sense the first time it comes out. What I wonder about Bitcoin is like in 21 during the bull run, people were unsure of like what all of this was, like what's it going to turn into. You know, what could all-time highs look like? What are these communities? What kind of value can I get from these communities? There was like a lot of unknown that fueled a lot of speculation across a lot of different collections, right? And part of me with Bitcoin sees, and I'm not shitting Ordinals, I think they're awesome. But I just wonder if it has the same type of, when I say staying power, like I think Ordinals are here to stay as a whole, but like as a ecosystem, are we just seeing a lot of people from ETH that are getting into Ordinals? They're just looking for like where to pull, when they can like max out their liquidity, and that we're not really going to see things that are long standing other than like, okay, Node Monkeys and Taproot Wizards and like a handful of these like top tier projects. Cause it just feels like people know what the game is now and that they're just going to look to dump on people. You may not have the opportunity to form full ecosystems and communities outside of a handful. Like I realize there will be, you know, a handful of those type of communities where like in ETH, because it was early, there's many, like there's still many communities that survive through the bear. I'm just kind of curious if this is going to be flash in the pans with a lot of these things.
So I think because Ethereum proved out now over the past 3 years that there can be so many projects that can survive and make it out the other side and continue to be successful, I think we're going to see an exact repeat of what happened on ETH. An exact repeat. It's just so early here that we're like 2020, very beginning of 2021 in the Bitcoin cycle, where early 21 on ETH, there were very few projects as well. That's when we started getting Cool Cats coming out and trying to think all those other projects that launched then. Just starting out, and, you know, they built their lore over years.
Yeah, but to Randall's point, like I think I don't think they're mutually exclusive. Like if you believe in Bitcoin, you should believe in Ordinals. That I'm not saying that Ordinals aren't going to stick around. What I'm saying is it going to be a flourishing ecosystem? Because what I don't see happening nearly as much on the Ordinal side is vibrant communities.
Right.
What I see is a lot of people from other communities that come in with whitelists just for the opportunity to be able to sell. People are really happy with really small gains. That's why I think we see floors just getting bricked. And again, there are a handful of collections that I think will do well. But I'm just like, as a whole, people seem to be less willing to speculate long term on these things versus like, okay, I minted for 0.0069. Oh my gosh, the floor didn't 2x. Now I'm listing for 0.0069.
Yep.
And then literally the momentum's gone. The project is dead. On to the next one.
You're seeing it really clearly, and I think that you're totally right. It's because the communities are not there, and because traders are playing that way. So exactly what you're describing is exactly how it is right now.
Wait, how's that a crazy take, English? Because that's exactly what I'm seeing outside of a handful of, known projects. The majority of the mints that I see, literally, if people aren't making money on them right away, they are bricked, and then you never hear another word from them again.
Yep.
So I don't know why it's crazy to think that the majority of Ordinals communities don't have communities.
While we're waiting for his reply, the ones that do are Badgers, Quantum Cats, Node Monkeys, Puppets. I don't even know about Puppets, maybe, but I don't know of any others that are really, really deep and active like those guys. I think English is going to enlighten us, though.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying Ordinals aren't going to make it. That's not my point. My point is everyone knows that 99% of stuff goes to zero. And so what I think we see, a lot of the people that are getting into Ordinals are existing degens that played the game in mainnet. So when they come to Ordinals, and a lot of people aren't used to the price action there. Again, there are communities there are projects that have communities, but they're few and far between. So it just seems like the majority of people come in, they get a whitelist, they brick the floor if it's not going to, make some gains out of the gate, and then it's on to the next one. So the difference between that and 2021 was in 2021, so many people were learning the ecosystem. They were finding their home bases. Those communities are what allowed a lot of the projects to stick around for years. And I don't know that just don't know that we'll have the same opportunity to see that on Ordinals outside of again, there will be projects. There are projects on Ordinals that are doing well that have communities, but outside of those kind of top tier communities or even those seedy ones like Badgers, are we going to really see the same type of communities forming there, which are like they're necessary. They're a necessary component for a flourishing project. Yeah. Hey, I'm kind of curious.
English, would you come up? Would you come up and chat?
I agree with you, English. I'm not saying there's new communities on ETH. There are very few. In fact, you see a lot of Web 2 companies that are coming in that are like, we don't need a community because they have a specific product that creates a revenue vertical outside of, let's say, creator fees. Yeah. Okay. Comparatively, I, again, don't say that there's not communities on Ordinals, but I just don't know if we have. Sure. Yeah, you do have to judge 24. That's what I'm judging 24 by. I'm judging 23 and 24 by kind of what I'm seeing.
Well, here's a question. English, what are the top communities over in Bitcoin? The ones that are real communities. They're not just there like raiding tweets, you know, and that's their method. Like I see in a lot of the new ones, it's just community that raids tweets. What are the ones that are actually like a legit community that's building culture? Like name some that we probably haven't heard of before, because that might help change, you know, some minds here. Like, I'm going to say PMB as an example. Like PMB are different. Those guys have been in this space doing this for this long, and they've rallied around this thing, and they're doing whatever. Like, you know, real community building. So puppets, those monkey babies, and these are ones I asked for that because they're ones I've never been in their Discord, so I don't know. I got no feel for it. Cats.
Point being is this: there's not as many people playing. There's not as many people looking for a home base because they have their home base. They're visiting the other ecosystem to extract liquidity. That's a lot of what we see. Yes, there 100%, just to make my position clear, are communities that have good communities on Ordinals. But part of sustaining as a community is bringing value to that community. And if you don't have people that are sticking around, it's really hard to leverage your community to continue bringing in opportunities to that community. That's kind of my point, is that I see Ordinals. Hey, it might be totally wrong. Maybe all these people with the money that we're talking about that are deep in Bitcoin are happy to come in and degen into these new communities that are forming. But my gut would tell me, like, if they're going to get into a community, it'll be like an established Ordinals community.
I'm going to throw up another example because English, Henry sees what I've seen a lot too, where we get these little tips that this mint is happening now and we might get whitelist and we buy in. And they do phenomenally for about an hour or maybe 2 hours, and then dead and under mint price, and they faded. There's just nothing, and that's been a lot of the experience over on Bitcoin. That's made it feel like there's no real community. What's the Butoshi project, which is different? That's a good example of one that has a community.
Sure, yeah, don't disagree there.
Trying to find that one. Goosenals, strong community. Strong community. I can't believe those are down to 0.01. Dude, that's it. Okay, Henry, it's what we've talked about. I don't think we're minting the right stuff.
Well, I'm not minting a whole lot on Ordinals.
But the stuff we did mint, where we talked about how it moves funny. It's like that thing we've pointed out. I do think English is right that I don't think we're minting the right stuff. I don't think we're in the right info stream.
Yeah, listen, I could be totally wrong. There could be an entire influx of people that are coming into Bitcoin that are going to form these vibrant communities and ecosystems. It's totally possible. The tech needs to change a little bit, I think, in order for that to really happen, because there's not a lot of central stuff to keep people engaged. And it's expensive. Like, as a founder on Bitcoin, you basically have to do pretty decent out of the gate, right? That's your stack. We haven't seen yet what happens with these projects without the revenue streams that were kind of typical in like mainnet projects in 21 that allowed people to sustain.
Here, I'm inviting English up.
I poked his baby.
Nice.
I poked his baby.
I love English. All right, hang on. Let me English. I'm trying to find you my DMs here. Beautiful fucking English. Where are you? Or send me a DM if you could. Just to. Oh, I got you. And guys, we're gonna hit on this for a bit. I'm gonna close too on Yuga Labs because I think they're not toast, but that last trip back to their other side metaverse, I saw some interesting shit there. So just setting the stage here for how we'll wrap. Also, while we're waiting for English to join, who's watching Dune 2? Have you seen it yet? If you spoil anything, goddamn, I don't even know what I'll do, but no spoilers. I think we're going to go watch it tonight. I cannot freaking wait. Dude, you know how I get obsessed with movies?
Yeah. You're going to see it like 9 times this weekend?
Well, since I watched Dune for the first time, I now watch it every night. Every single night I watch it, like the whole thing. So I've probably seen it 15 times now.
Yep. Yeah, you're a psycho.
Love it. Like, absolutely. And subtitle. Oh, dude, who tweeted this morning? Who the hell was it? Not Debussy. Fuck, who was it? You know what? I can find it here. Sorry, it doesn't matter much, but
yeah.
It changes the movie. Hang on. It's oh yeah, Justin Trimble. I love this guy, founder of Brain Dumps. Okay, figured out how to enjoy Dune, watch it with subtitles. Dude, changes the movie. Literally changes the movie. It's absolutely crazy. But like, there's so many things, important things that are said that you miss because there's so many words you've never heard before, and there's so much, like, the music is loud and there's so much going on. You miss a lot of big shit. You put on subtitles and it changes the movie. You pick up on stuff, you're like, oh my God. It's wild. English, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you too, Huda. Thanks so much.
I'll be English. It's
Yo,
good
yo.
to you.
You hear me? All right, sorry, I'm trying to get. I have like multiple things going on. All right.
Good morning. I mean, GM.
Yeah, that take that like. I haven't personally minted anything that hasn't done well, so maybe I have a skewed view there. But like, there's so many communities that I've seen, like, either during like the bear market of Ordinals flourishing now, that's continued to doing, like, there's tons of people that come over to Ordinals and they don't even want to deal with Ethereum anymore, especially from the community side. Like, I think Kongs are a little bit different. Like, you guys roll the same way if the floor price is 10x from what it is now as before. So like, those types of communities, I'm not comparing those types of communities. I think MFers are like that too. There's just like these long-standing communities that have existed, and I think it's pretty unfair to compare like a new ecosystem. Like, would you compare, say, like communities to that? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, they've been around. Hold on, Henry, hold on. And then so right now, there's almost no excitement on Ethereum and anything that's relatively new, like Persona or whatever. And most people that come over to Ordinals feel like they're in 2021 again. And that excitement keeps them in those discords, keep them like hungry for like the tech side, which is pretty hard to do in a mature Web3 ecosystem. My spaces that I started a month ago gets over 200 concurrent listeners and 2,000 people because people have an appetite for it. And that's a huge community, even though it's not an NFT-based community. And if I were to spin up an Ethereum one right now, I bet that I wouldn't get more than 20 people listening in.
Agree with all that. Henry, thoughts?
Yes. No, I don't disagree. Nothing he's saying is wrong. But I think to compare an Ordinals community that's new. By the way, I'm bullish on Ordinals. I'm
not saying you're not bullish on Ordinals. That wasn't what I interpreted. Yeah. But like, to me,
so a year later,
vibrant communities in Ordinals, and I don't feel that way about Ethereum. Like, I'm excluding the ones that have existed through the bear. Like, those obviously are just communities that are established and there. But like, I just think that the Ethereum ones, like, if Azuki's your home, you're going to be an Azuki guy, right? And I do think that a lot of like the people that are coming over now, the people that don't have much exposure to Ordinals and get whitelist through their like Azuki community, or they're maybe in like some alpha group. Yeah, they're just fucking jeeting it and then getting it out of there. But the people that are in ordinals and got excited about it, those people are getting projects like, even if it's a cheaper price point, like the Booze over there, Wizard of Ord, Famojis. I mean, there's just tons of people that like, and you don't see these on the top 10 list over here, but they're pumping, vibing, and hanging out. Dude.
Yeah. I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I think my point is more in a broad a broad stroke of the brush, that it's going to be harder for communities to flourish on ordinals than it was in 2024 than it was on mainnet in 2021. That's I guess what I'm saying.
That I agree with 1,000%. But
Yeah.
here's what you have to understand. There's
Well,
not
let me just finish.
Sure.
The maybe the full thought. I think it's going to be harder, right, in a broad spectrum to have flourishing communities, and I think that's going to get further compounded by the fact that it is harder for an ordinals community to continue to deliver. I'm talking from a founder standpoint, to continue to deliver value to the community when everything hinges on the initial mint as of right now, and that there's less revenue to be able to continue to develop the ecosystem and give value back. Again, big communities, big names are going to be able to do this. I just think it's a harder roadmap for projects to be able to sustain what most communities are looking for, which is ultimately money.
Here's my take. All right, so with ordinals or any ecosystem right now, you're not getting people that own Bitcoin that have never owned a JPEG and saying, "Hey, I want to get a JPEG." These are people that were already active on Ethereum, active on Solana, active on whatever chain they were, probably one of those two. And to have the gravity of Bitcoin, like not everybody who has an Ethereum project wants to go to Say or go to Blast, but they all want to come to like to Bitcoin, which is probably where a lot of people started and then got interested in like tech and they left Bitcoin. And so for a new ecosystem, one that's only been around for a year, to have basically at times it's so strong that it made Magic Eden the #1 marketplace after like Tensor like dethroned it. And so what I'm saying is that there is an appetite for new projects, and it doesn't really make sense on Ethereum because it's a very mature ecosystem, and to like take somebody away from their home on Ethereum is very, very difficult. But there's some people that are just really like tired of Solana culture, tired of Ethereum culture, and they find ordinals very refreshing. And there's tons of communities that are thriving and growing. And so when I compare it to the existing Ethereum ecosystem, which I would probably say is actually decreasing in participants because people are getting interested in Solana and Bitcoin, I see one going down in participation and one going up. And so that to me makes it more thriving. Like I'm not comparing it in terms of who has the more active participants, who has the more established community. When I see one in a parabolic trajectory going up in terms of excitement and participants and one bleeding, that kind of tells me a lot, especially going into a bull market. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point during like peak stuff, you just see a ridiculous amount. But like here's the thing that I think that what you're saying is true to a certain extent, but I think that's bullish because you don't want to see a 2021 kind of stuff where people get tired out on like these things. Like PMB is a double derivative, and like the fact that people got excited about that, that's cool. But like I think that's pretty hard to think that a community will form around that. I mentioned Famojis, people like Sanj. He's helped out a lot of people in the Ordinals ecosystem, so like they get tons of whitelist. Sanj has helped out with like a lot of other projects. In fact, he helped inscribe PMB or did the recursive technology for it. People like Lifo FIFO, so people have rallied around his collection. I don't think the art's that strong. I don't think the Famojis art is that strong, but people rally around it for those types of people. Troy on Ordinals doesn't have a large collection, but he's going to probably start doing more stuff. And so I just see, like, I go into Ethereum discords and they're pretty dead for the most part. And I go into Ordinals discords and that's just not the case. And that's like a huge, huge indicator of me of where the communities, like, bro, I I had Sirius come into the Shroom chat, the 220 collection. Dude, that Twitter group chat has 90 people and is nonstop because people are fucking going crazy about the fact that they own a shroom. Like, all the fucking punk people, all the people who have 8-figure fucking bags, they're just fucking like, hey, this is like, I'm having fun again. And it's, to me, it's just such a bullish indicator. I don't think people are having fun on Ethereum. In fact, they were looking forward to Blast, which I'm actually pretty bullish on long term. And I have a thesis on that. But they're like, damn, dude, like, I'm spinning wheels, man. It's kind of not too far from like hamster racing of the bear market.
That's right. It's a good way to put it.
You know, like Blast, any like L2s, anything like, let's just say EVM, I feel like is all part of that ecosystem where, you know, you can, you know, let's say bridge back and forth. It's easy for a project to be able to spin off, whether it's a game on an L2, etc. And by the way, I agree with your take, especially looking at Ordinals as a whole. I just am, again, and I could be completely wrong on it, I just would be really curious to see what things look like 1 year out with projects that we have right now and where they are 12 months from now, 18 months from now, when, again, you have a lot of founders that have great intentions, but if they can't continue to bring in revenues, how long do they stick around in a project when there aren't like clear revenue verticals? And a lot of let's say OG projects, the revenue vertical is creator fees. That was what kind of fueled a lot of what they were able to do and what they were able to build, you know, from like 21 to current, or from 22 to current. So yeah, I agree. I think people are looking for that next opportunity. I think people who are really degenning see Ordinals as a great opportunity. I just don't know if we'll have as many communities that are able to flourish over there. Although I completely agree that there are communities that are flourishing and there will be more that continue to flourish.
And really long enough time frame, and you're going to get that you're going to get quantity of communities. You will get them over a long enough time, 5 years out. And we know this is a forever thing. So yeah, right now there may not be the same amount, but,
in terms of
Heath had that head start.
I was just gonna say, here's an interesting dynamic of Ordinals, at least currently at the moment. There's really no thriving communities that need revenue. And as silly as that sounds, I know it sounds silly, given what we were just talking, is that like NFTs in 2021 didn't really have like utility type as an idea. Like, that was an idea kind of made up by Bored Ape Yacht Club. And because with the whole flipping the punks, you know, it's like, well, this has utility, like airdrops, and we're going to build something out. So everybody rallied around, I guess, utility and started building out teams with burn rates. And I'm not saying that you won't see that. I think, in effect, Taproot Wizards is kind of like that. They had a VC raise, they had a big raise. They're hiring like crack devs to like do like L2 stuff and all this other stuff. So they will have a burn rate, and they do have VC funding. So I do think we will see people with ambitions like that. But for right now, what you're just seeing is like small teams that probably don't even have like paid community managers or things, and doing like a cultural thing while you're like building the culture on there. I don't know what that looks like. I do think that these are like the good times of Ordinals, and we'll look back on it like a year or 2 years later, and man, like, damn, we had a lot of fun back then. And I do think things become a little bit more serious and like not as fun and maybe more corporate. So I do agree with you that that's probably a long-term trajectory of a more mature market. But as far as these communities itself, like, I mean, if I just don't know how much capital you need. I mean, look at Zeneca, dude. Like, Zeneca pivoted to this kind of business model and then went back to just kind of a degen thing with just providing the network, providing alpha, which makes a lot more sense in a bull market, right? Like, you can just make calls, have community, get rich together on like plays. Like, here's like the thought, like in a bull market, it just feels different. Like, even these like pudgies and stuff, part of the reason they're doing well is because they're getting airdrops from other people. They don't have to do like that self-diluting airdrops, and that like fuels it. Is it sustainable over the long run? Probably not. but I'm not sure that Ordinals is exactly like Ethereum, where it's more than just collectibles. Just not at this point yet. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, no, I agree. And a guy like Zeneca, who made his bags, made his money off, Zen Academy, and easy to be able to pivot. I'm kind of picturing like the degen who's creating a project, wants to start something. Honestly, almost like Badgers. Somebody wants to start something like really organic and keep it around. That it's going to be a little bit harder when you don't have the funds to sustain it, because at some point you got to pay the bills. But yeah, no, totally agree. There's the people that
What
that
bills
don't
are you talking about? Like I know
life.
Aqua and I know the Badgers, and nobody's paid on there, and people are just
Yeah,
hanging out making money on like plays, and
yeah,
like I'm on that team on Badgers, and I don't get paid anything.
yeah. The money I'm talking about is if your community is just going to be that. Hey, we bring in alpha and we bring in whitelists. I love Badgers, by the way. I'm not even shit talking it. The money I'm talking about is to build out like an ecosystem, to build out something a little bit bigger, to scale up the team. There's a burn rate associated with all of that. So that burn rate's either coming from your mint or it's coming from outside revenue verticals. So yeah, I agree. There's going to be communities. And when you don't have the revenue vertical, then at some point as a founder, you're like, what am I doing here? Like, what am I'm putting my time into this, and people have lives and they've got mouths to feed, etc. But yeah, no,
I would agree with that. I would agree with
the
that long
provenance
term. I just
stage.
don't know that in a bull market, it's exactly like that. So maybe 2 years from now, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. By the way, English, totally agree with that. Yeah, long term is more what I'm thinking. But yeah, bull market, none of it matters, right?
Right.
Like the next year, yeah, it doesn't matter. People are
Yeah,
going to be
yeah, yeah.
vibing, making money
Yes.
on different sides. They want to find a home. They want to find community while they're making money. They want to know who they vibe with. They see like at Taproot Wizards, it's crazy because it's like people are like, oh, we don't have any whitelist yet. And the reason they're complaining that is because the floor is still 0.27 while Node Monkeys is 2xing, 3xing. But then I hear on spaces like, oh, Node Monkeys is bullish because they're not collabing with anybody and giving whitelist and jeopardizing their brand. And it's like two opposite things. And it's like when your project is going up 20, 30, 40%, you've just made those unrealized gains in your mind. So you're happy with like the community, right? Like you're happy with that. Otherwise, it's like the floor hasn't gone up 10%. So where's my whitelist? So yeah, I just think we're in a period that's kind of like the golden era of Ordinals. And we'll see. We'll see what happens in 2 years. And if like I think of the best ones that we can make a comparison is where like Pudgy's obviously like Luca has found his revenue model so he can be still motivated as a founder and be like, hey, I still want to be here because I have lives, I have a life, and I have all this, and I want money to sustain it. And the community's happy because they feel like price is going up and they're being rewarded. And that's a very rare thing to do where like you can separate the revenue as a company, as a founder, as a team, and I have my money my way. The holders, you have your money your way, and both are very happy. I think it's pretty rare to get that. And if you can do that, then you have a very long-term sustainable model. And I just don't know what that looks like in Ordinals in 2 years because there's 0 utility projects. And maybe that will be like, oh shit, we need to figure something out in 2 years. It's just, it hasn't been the case yet, is my point.
Yeah.
Does
Taproot
OpCat
Wizards
get
was
us
the
there?
problem.
Is OpCat a step there, not necessarily for quantum cats, but for the space in general to start actually having utility because it does upgrade the chain, does give you that programmability?
No, here's the Taproot Wizard thesis based on what I've heard from Udi and doing everything is that the reason that anything is really valuable as a NFT is because somebody considers it legendary. It's become iconic. There's like a certain kind of like collectible thing that, hey, I want this because this was very pivotal. So like he uses the example of punks. Like punks were traded at $100, $200 for years, but a lot of those people went out to build out the Ethereum ecosystem, whether that's nouns, whether that's, all these other crazy like founders that built out Ethereum. And so it became associated with like the PFP of like the people who built out Ethereum. And so in a way, he thinks wizards are somewhat legendary in a sense because he even like has to push away the narrative that Wizards created Ordinals, because Casey got a little bit upset about it, because they didn't create Ordinals. Casey did, and he's very clear about that. But you got to understand, there was less than 1,000 inscriptions for 3 months until Udi inscribed the big 4 MB wizard, and then all of a sudden there was 100,000 in 2 weeks. So really, like, Wizards kind of started off the Ordinals as like NFTs on Bitcoin kind of idea, and so because of that, there's some kind of at least association with, damn, like Wizards are kind of iconic. And so along with that is the idea to make Bitcoin magical again, bring dev culture. So they thought about doing an L2 for this whole past year. It's not like the Wizards have been doing nothing and then just made up quantum cats. They played with the tech. They played with all the stuff that people are doing now, like Merlin and all these other types of tech on L2s. And they figured out that we couldn't really do something in a robust, satisfying way for the Wizard brand without upgrading Bitcoin itself first. And so they said, all right, we're going to come out with our second collection before Wizards, and we'll make these prototypes on testnet, because there's this weird type of like catch 22. So like to pass the soft fork, the people that one of the main arguments is like, well, there's no products that people use on these test nets, so why even do it if no one's going to build out the tech? And then the people that are building out the tech are like, why am I going to spend 2 years building a product that can't even be implemented to actually be used? And so there's like this weird kind of just like loggerheads of things. So the idea is, if we can get enough momentum on the cultural level to have an appetite to do OpCat or one of these op codes at the same time while we build out products on testnet that show product market fit, then maybe we can have like this kind of synergy where all of a sudden people are excited about the products on testnet, knowing that a soft fork is possible. And the idea is that when the time comes, the Taproot Wizards, after that soft fork, will be able to produce these products that wasn't possible before an upgrade to Bitcoin itself. So it is an execution risk, and Udi would say that too. But he's like, if we could actually upgrade Bitcoin, the very fabric of the underlying assets, these will become iconic, because these will be like the PFP. This will be the community that actually changed Bitcoin itself to bring NFT Web3 culture to its truest form on Bitcoin. So it's a big lift for sure.
It's like, yeah, long journey, long road to get there, but it's the part that needs to happen to get the communities that Henry's like really wanting to see, right? Those real ones with real products and real offerings. And
yeah, you won't see that.
How we get there.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, Huda, because it's like a lot of the stuff you can do on Ethereum, and to make those kind of techs, it just doesn't exist like right now on Bitcoin, at least not in a meaningful way. It's just a collectible on a Satoshi, and it's a cool token that might be really valuable to somebody, whether that's an OMB, whether that's a Bitcoin shroom, because there is some collectability value. But once you start talking about innovation the way that like maybe the Kongs have done and some other kind of stuff, that requires a certain tech stack that's not available on Bitcoin.
Love it, guys. Good thoughts all around on all of that. By the way, I did see Dead call. I think he called Honey Badgers to 1 Bitcoin. He's got like that much belief in him. I think that was about Badgers. But I do want to point out for you guys that were in
minting the way that Dead Polaroid does, I would be bullish, crazy bullish on everything too, dude. I need some of his luck when it comes to mints.
Gangster, man. Like
I would think everything's going to 1 Bitcoin too if I lived his Web3 life.
Yeah, dude. I mean, multiple puppets. I think he had 8 puppets, maybe even more. He's killing it. I did want to point out though, check it out, the Badgers that are under 100K inscriptions, floor on those is like 0.08. Yeah, basically 0.09. So good to know. If you guys were in early in that first batch, those were all under 100K, and you're sitting on a much more expensive, in theory, Badger there. So just want to mention. Oh, you said puppets to 1. I can see it, Dad. I mean, this one I see both sides. I can see them having peaked. They're crypto dick butts. They're like that. I could see them absolutely ripping at any point. Just how long can they stay that cultural thing? You know, that it thing, and you know,
that's my theory too, Huda. Like, we've seen on Ethereum, and I use Ethereum comps all the time because that's the only ones that we really have, as Henry kind of alluded to, like from before 2021, 2022, and we've seen, if you make the analogy of monkeys, like people can use Bored Ape, people can use punks or whatever, and come out with reasonable floors in a bull market. And I don't think that that's unreasonable, whether that's 100K or 500K, what's your target. But I haven't seen a meme collection go above 5 or 6 Ethereum. And if you translate the math, that works out to, like, at that time, let's say Ethereum was $2,000, 2,500, that comes to about 0.2, like at the top of a meme collection. You saw that with crypto dick butts, you saw it with MFers around 5 or 6 ETH. I haven't seen a 20 ETH, 30 ETH meme collection. And so to me, if it hits 1 Bitcoin, you're talking about something unprecedented, which I'm not saying is not possible, but I just think the chances of getting there, because there is no precedence. And so to me, Dead will fund me because I said at 0.05, they might go to 0.1, but they're probably done. When they hit 0.1, I said they might go 0.2, but they're probably done, which is kind of where I'm at now. So he does have, he is right that they have over exceeded my expectations, but I think the point now is it's not so much that they would over exceed my expectations, but it would be record breaking in terms of a meme collection. And so we'll see. I just don't think we see a 10 ETH, 15 ETH meme collection is my point.
Well, I'll say this, just to wrap up this topic. I do think we'll see unprecedented stuff on Bitcoin, just because I just think it's that kind of ecosystem and it's that new. So I won't be shocked to see it hit that type of price that we've never seen for a meme collection on ETH. But I lean kind of more towards where you're at, Dad. I'm sorry, English. But I also just then got to point out just the difference in the type of projects. You got the meme ones like the puppets, excuse me. You got the builders like the Quantum Cats, and then you have the Node Monkeys, which just, again, are clearly the crypto punk of that ecosystem. So, you got all 3 plays here right in front of you, and those are the ones to be following to see which of those narratives are the strongest. I think it's obvious that the CryptoPunk narrative is the strongest there. So keep those eyes on those Node Monkeys.
I will concede this. It just depends where your mind frame is at. If you're talking, this is like, this time it is actually different, and this time it is actually a super cycle, and this time we'll see NFTs crazier than 2021. If you buy into that narrative, then yeah, sure, it makes sense. Then you're talking Node Monkeys, $500,000, $1 million a piece at a 10K collection. Then sure, maybe Bitcoin's $150,000 a Bitcoin, and maybe you see it close to 1 Bitcoin for a puppet. But you're talking about like a mad, crazy euphoria, crazier than the 2021 cycle. You're talking Bitcoin at 250K, whatever the case may be. So if you're in that mindset, sure, that makes sense. I'm just not there yet in terms of that's where we are, where we're going with all of this.
Yep. Hey, Huda, can I, because I know we're going to be wrapping up here soon, I think, can I just make one more take? Nothing to do with Ordinals or NFTs in general, but just an interesting, I think I had sent you this tweet earlier. It was yesterday about Kraken versus the SEC. And it was the SEC had sued Kraken. Kraken filed a motion to dismiss, but there was attorney generals from 8 different states that had basically chimed in to say that the SEC is overreaching their kind of regulatory their current regulatory constraints, because what they're effectively doing is opening up there's the tweet. They're kind of opening up Pandora's box with their very loose definition of what an investment contract is by saying, oh, it's not the token that's the ecosystem. Sorry, it's not the token that's the investment contract. It's the ecosystem within the token that's the investment contract, which basically opens it up to, Beanie Babies, trading cards. Basically, we've all joked that everything's a security, but it was really cool to see that 8 different states had chimed in, 8 attorney generals had chimed in to say, like, hey, this is, I'm paraphrasing, like, this is too much. Some of these things should be left up to the states, who have their own consumer protection laws in place. So just interesting to see that the SEC is really trying to power grab, which we already knew that, but to see that they're getting some pushback. So just an interesting tweet worth checking out.
Yeah, this is good
Look,
stuff. If anybody
Randall
wants,
said
I'll drop the
this
link here.
cycle is far more crazy than 2021. Do you guys feel that way? Because I don't think we're even all-time highs on Ethereum, Solana, a lot of like the alts. I would, I guess, argue that Bitcoin has maybe reached its previous all-time high, but I think that when you're in a new cycle, you want to beat those previous all-time highs, and not just by a little bit, by a lot. So
We talking
I'm
crypto or the
curious your
NFT
guys' take,
markets?
because I don't think this cycle's more crazy than 2021.
We're talking NFTs, right?
I don't know what he's talking. I was
Crypto.
responding to Randall.
I'll say, I'll chime in though. I'll say the NFT cycle, and I agree with him because we're literally just at the start. Like English, it was probably before you joined, and it's something you've seen me show probably a million times now. But just again, going to show where we're at now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not close to crazy.
Like this is us now. This is where we're at in the cycle, and yet the difference in unique buyers and how many people are participating from that time till now tells me when we get to this phase, which I do think is what's coming up this year, I think it's numbers we've never seen before. I think this
I
does
see.
blow
I
the
see what
past
he's
year.
saying. He's not comparing it to like peak 2021. He's comparing it to early 2021.
Exactly. Or
Got it,
early
got it.
now to early
That makes
21.
sense.
Yep. I think we're in something for like, man, I mean, I think we're going to see a chart that looks like that, like off, like 2 times higher. I think, we're going to see sales like that, but like up here, like crazy, crazy high. I told Henry before, like this is unlikely probably, but also I will not be shocked if we see a day with like 1 billion in sales across all blockchains, across Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, all that. Like could happen this cycle.
Sorry, Henry, I interrupted kind of a little bit of your thought chain. So are you saying that basically what you were most concerned about and have been talking about the last year, 6 months, 2 years, you've been talking about it for a while. Are you less concerned now that the SEC has more of a role in this?
They're going to have a role in this. I think that, I think until we see how this plays out in court with a project, like we know Yuga's under investigation. I think until we see how it plays,
because you have a good grasp on Yuga. Like, what's your worst case scenario and your best case scenario for Yuga? Just as an example, not that I'm calling them out, but I think you have a good grasp on them as just an example.
Yeah, best case scenario for Yuga is obviously the SEC drops their investigation. Worst case scenario for Yuga is that I don't even want to say that they settle, because in settling, they would probably have to pay a fine, a penalty if there's no fraud accusations, which there could be. So it depends on what really happened behind the scenes. But we certainly know with things like MoonPay, where Yuga was basically, giving things to people, not disclosing it. Those people were marketing for them. That can certainly cause problems. The token itself that they launched can certainly cause problems. But yeah, I think worst case scenario is that they fight this out in court, lose, and what can happen there can be really scary. They can, depending on what they're charged with, they could be forced to burn NFTs. They could be forced to burn tokens. They could be forced to I forgot the technical word, where they have to disgorgement, I think is the word, where they have to give back gains, take ApeCoin out of their ecosystem, just like a whole bunch of messy shit. So
Are
I
the
think
NFTs itself in jeopardy? Because I think we saw some people like say, hey, we'll buy back your NFT at the price that you minted it for, or something weird, and we're going to dissolve these NFTs. Like, is that even like a worst case scenario, or is this strictly like ApeCoin and some other stuff?
If there is disgorgement, I think is the right word. They potentially would have to let's say buy back at mint price. I mean, we're not talking secondary sales, but I think that would be difficult for the SEC to do with their collection. Because there wasn't really an expectation of gains from the apes themselves. That being said, I think it's more ApeCoin that's the problem for them, and how that plays into their ecosystem. So I think that is more the time frame that would cause an issue for them, in my mind, less so than the actual mint itself. But the token launch, it's really funny. Everybody thinks like, if we use this company here and they launch the token and blah blah. By the way, none of that shit matters. Potentially, we got to see how it plays out. But keep in mind, when the SEC decides to go after these people, and like I've spoken to a lot of attorneys about this because it's really interested me. Like you can ask Huda, like it's been something I've been interested in, for over a year. These guys, the SEC will get into the middle of everything that they've ever said or done via subpoenas, emails, text messages, etc. So all of that will come out. I'm surprised we haven't heard anything yet because we found out November of 22 that they were under investigation. So, but to answer your question, a lot of it depends. It's like a little bit of a game of time. Do we get a new administration that's far more crypto friendly, and that if that happens, Gensler's gone. If we get a Trump administration, Gensler's gone. And we know that there are some crypto friendly commissioners on the current SEC. So Hester Pierce, she's awesome, super pro crypto. So they seem to have faded a little bit. There's been some wins that crypto has had against the SEC, but I think we have to see one of these major things like Kraken, Coinbase, Yuga play out to officially see the SEC get their pee-pee stomped. So that way we can fully kind of put them behind us. And I think that'll help out a lot, especially for these US based companies.
Oh shit.
One last question, Henry, just because I know you have a really good grasp on this. So I love picking your brain when I get a chance to. I don't want to get too political on this show, but do you think like the election will make a difference in any of this, like crypto regulations? Like if Trump is versus kind of, Biden, like this left wing, right wing kind of thing. Like, I don't want to make it about them, but just as crypto participants, do you think if one is elected versus the other, there's any significant difference?
I think there's a huge difference. I think if Trump, wouldn't it be difficult with a president that's launched 40,000 NFTs to not be pro crypto versus an administration like with Biden and you've got senators like Senator Warren and all these other people that want nothing more than to see crypto burn because it scares them if we take the power out of their hands. Whereas somebody like Trump is like, I don't give a fuck. He launched his own NFTs that clearly came with benefits to them, like value, going to a dinner, having Zoom calls. Personally speaking, I think it would be hard to deny the fact that just by putting in a crypto-friendly president like Trump, who seems to be the front runner, the SEC is going to change completely. Gensler will be gone. And that's all we need. That's literally all we need. We need 3 Republicans, 2 Democrats on the commission, and then look at Hester Pierce. If any of you are interested in this stuff, look at Hester Pierce. Look at her decisions that she's made with even things like stoner cats, and you see her view on things that these are collectibles. Let's not stymie innovation, and then I think you'll see man, just imagine if we were pro crypto in the US. Just imagine. It would unshackle people from having to think of like, well, what could happen if we do this? Like, nobody wants to deal with these bullshit lawsuits by the SEC.
Eventually we get there. I believe it. Guys, let's wrap. I was scrolling through some screenshots of the apes come home to the other side. Just wanted you to take a peek at that. Some pros, some cons with it too, but ultimately I saw quite a bit of this. People saying they're selling their ape coin and other deeds, and they're running, man. Yuga Labs in trouble. They got a lot of work to do. I still believe in them. I'm still rooting for them, but not what they used to be. I think that's for sure, right?
Yeah, culture's gone.
Culture's kind of out the door here. Guys, thank you so much for joining. I mean it to you, especially Henry English, you for coming up as well and sharing your incredible insights. And everybody watching, guys, I think this might have been one of our most active shows as far as people here in the chat, chatting back with us. We love it. Love the feedback. Love you participating. And like I always say, expect more of this. And there is actually a schedule and plan to ramp this up. So thank you guys very much. Hope you have a fantastic
I'm going to
weekend.
use your show as a top signal. When you get 1,000 concurrent live people on YouTube, I'm going to sell all my JPEGs.
That's probably not a bad idea, but I'm going to tell you, I say a thing that's going to sound crazy, like it's going to sound fucking crazy, but my goal has always been to be the bit boy of NFTs, not to be a dick like him, but that's the kind of show I want. I want a show that everybody's like kind of, they pick that out as that kind of show. That's like a driver, a place for normies to come in.
I'm selling.
Wait, what? What's that, English?
when you become the bit boy of NFTs, like when that happens, when like you have like celebrities coming in to tune into your show, that's when I know I gotta sell all my JPEGs.
It's definitely, you called it. That is the top signal. So good call there. Everybody follow English. He's on top of this shit. Follow Henry the Grape, of course. And guys, I'll see you tomorrow morning.
And follow Who the Idiot.
You follow me while you're at it too. But yeah, guys,
Yeah,
tomorrow
the
back
best.
with a 5-minute
Both of
morning
you guys are
update.
the best. And yeah, well, all three of you, I've got to know Tickle a lot better in Ordinals specifically, but yeah, good family altogether.
Good crew. Appreciate that, English. Guys, have a great weekend. See you.
Yeah, you too, man. Okay.